Yes, God family, Rooted Rising. It's another chilly day in Brooklyn. It's about 43 degrees right now. And, come outside to get some air, get some energy. Of course, the sun is not as vibrant as Florida, but we still give thanks. It's another day in paradise, as my pops would say. So, it's last night, actually, I broke my fast. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I was at this event and had some pitas and hummus. And, it was, I guess I've been on like an intermittent type of vibe, but I got to about 2 days, broke it, but now I'm continuing resetting again. And, I just think it's so important to just, as we were talking yesterday, and we've been talking about the idea of intention, but paying attention as well to your body and really, just seeing the difference between eating and not eating. And it was so interesting because I didn't feel like I needed to eat yesterday. And then when I did, I didn't necessarily feel great. It could have been the amount, it could have been what I was breaking the fast with. Because ideally, if we are breaking fast, we want to do a fruit feast, But, there's different levels to this Just Juice January thing. And even when we do Just Juice July, in terms of intermittent fasting, fruit fasting, fasting from arguments, fasting from, toxic relationships, whether that be with people or alcohol or whatever the case may be. And so today, I've just been thinking about relationships a lot, how we relate not only to ourselves, but to others. And whenever we're relating to ourselves in a way of healing, right, the hardest process is always going to be at the end in terms of our healing. So what do I mean by that? That means if you have the flu, the hardest day is going to be that last day where your body is really getting rid of all of that excess mucus in your mucous membrane, all of the toxic waste, and expelling it from the body. Even when cells die, they are released through our urine. And so, like the cellular death, we don't necessarily experience it as much unless we do have some sort of ailment or disease. But, it's always a process of excretion, of eliminating waste. And what we do is we constantly pack up this food in our body, and we don't allow the body the time that it needs to properly eliminate that waste, to excrete, to sweat, to just do whatever we need to do in order to heal, So even when we're breathing, right, we are bringing in air, we're bringing in that oxygen, and we're releasing that carbon dioxide. But that carbon dioxide could also come with whatever is in our body. Not to say that it's all going to be released in one breath or even two. It's to say that we do have a lot of power and influence based on our breath and our breathing. It's starting to drizzle. I shall make my way into a covered spot. But yes, y'all. But when we understand that relationship with ourselves and know that, our body is constantly trying to eliminate the things that are not right for it, we can apply the same principle to our other relationships. So, I just want to forewarn everyone, whenever I start fasting, except for this last time, but I'm sure it will come during this reset, but whenever I start fasting, sometimes I'll see things that are like, yo, that's quite disturbing. I didn't even know that was in my body, especially from eating so well. What we don't realize is we've accumulated waste throughout our life. And because we don't allow our body to properly eliminate the waste inside of the body, the colon is impacted. It's almost like a pipe, and after a while that pipe gets clogged. And when that pipe gets clogged, that's when, you start to have that backup and things aren't flowing. The body is a machine that operates off of flow. So when that flow is disturbed, we need to do whatever we need to do, which is, mainly fasting and mainly putting in the things in our body that are going to cleanse the colon. Certain roots, whether we're talking about dandelion root, or even if we're talking about things full of fiber like a grapefruit, papaya, which will flush the system as well. All of these things that I mentioned, if you make like a dandelion root tea, for example, like these are going to be things that are going to help that process of elimination. Of course, the ginger, and also reducing the inflammation. So this information is definitely vital for survival, right? And not just survival, but thrival or thriving. So in order for us to really have that great relationship with self and others, wipe this screen off. In order for us to have that great relationship with others and ourselves, it takes that focus, it takes that awareness of what is really going on and being clear about it, right? And then having grace. You have grace for yourself, you have grace for others. But when things are not in proper alignment, you have to definitely have that honest talk with yourself. For example, let's say you keep on eating Burger King, who's robbing you of your health. You go to Burger King, and every time you eat Burger King, you have a tummy ache and you feel like you want to sleep. Well, you have to be honest and say, yo, this type of food is really not only upsetting my system, but it's lowering my frequency to the point where I feel like I don't want to do nothing. And I'm not saying everybody who eat Burger King feel that way, but I will say that this type of food is causing inflammation in the body. And everything we put in our body is information. So if that information is causing inflammation, it's going to affect you on many different levels. And we have to be aware of how the body is communicating with this food, because it's alchemy. We're all alchemists. Whether we know it or not, we putting things in our body and these combinations are mixing up. It's like, imagine putting a pot on the stove, on a temperature of about 82 degrees all day. And then everything you ate goes into that pot. That's basically what's happening in the body. It's a chemical reaction. So we have to be very proactive in terms of how we are treating ourselves. And now how does that relate? Well, especially as we're fasting, especially as we are, eliminating, allowing the body to eliminate that waste, there's going to be a lot of feelings that come up, because just like any process, right? Just like any process whenever you're healing, that's going to be the hardest part, the elimination aspect of it, right? So when you're eliminating, there's a lot of things and a lot of feelings and a lot of emotions that are going to come up. And you'll feel, the need to, in a sense, lash out, whether that be verbally against other people, or maybe even consider doing certain things that might not necessarily be conducive to your healing process. So we have to be very particular and specific with how we're treating ourselves and be aware of that. So the conversations we have, the type of people we keeping around, and a lot will be revealed. A lot will show, okay, well, was I only getting around certain people because we share certain bad habits? And those bad habits, unfortunately, is not going to make you a better person. Those bad habits such as, I'm going to go out and smoke every day. Well, that's going to definitely take some time. If nothing else, it's taking time, and it's taking time away from things that you can actually do that are going to help progress you in this life. Are you going out and are you drinking to the point where the next day you wake up and it's like, I'm hungover? And this society, it seems like we like to celebrate those types of things. Oh, what you doing today, man? Oh, I'm so hungover, man. Let's go to brunch and do it all again. It don't make sense, because, really it's not leading to our progression. And most of us aren't even that abundant enough financially to be living that type of lifestyle, but yet we force ourselves to. So I think it's all about having that awareness, but the relationship is so important. The relationship with self will incite the relationship that you have with others, and everything that you put in your body. There's a relationship. It's a constant relationship. When your immune system is to the point where it's really defending itself, where it's really protected, one can be in any type of weather and not feel nothing. One can be in any type of environment and, pretty much the body will adjust, because our bodies are very smart. They're one of the most intelligent things that the Most High has ever invented. And the best thing we can do is get out of the body's way and allow it to work. That sounds like a good relationship to me, allowing your body to do the work, as opposed to, I'm going to hold my body back by doing certain things, putting certain unnecessary carbs and starches and animal protein in it. You have your complex carbs, you have your simple carbs, and when we talk about carbs, of course, this is one of the building blocks of our survival. We need carbs in our body, but it's the type of carbs that we're taking in. All of these processed foods, all of these high sugars, the glucose, right? And what we want to do is we want to lean on the fruits. We want to lean on the veggies. The fruits are full of fructose, which is energy that the body needs, because we need sugar, but we need good sugar, not the processed sugar. The purest form of sugar that the sugar even derives from is the sugar cane. Well, what happened? They put all these chemicals in it, they dilute it, and then they transform it into something else. They transmute it into something that's actually negative, when really it was invented to be something positive for us. So I just want you to know that it's important, as you're building this awareness, and as you're becoming more in tune with your body, as your dreams are probably becoming more vivid at this time too, start to really apply certain things to your other relationships as well. The relationships you have with your family, the way that you communicate and discuss with them, the relationships that you have with friends or associates, and really see, what is the thing that's bringing y'all together, and is there a deeper connection that can be had? And if not, sometimes you have to let certain things go. Definitely, we shouldn't try to be forcing anything. Everything should be flow in the body and in our outside relationships as well. So, ask questions, get your answers, and don't be mad, because like I tell the children all the time, nobody can make you anything. Nobody can make you feel anything. You have to willingly do these things, right? You have to willingly say, you know what, I'm going to sign up for this. A lot of these things, especially in this country, it's contract, People put they signature on the contract and they say, yo, I'm signing up for this. How you doing? They sign up for these things. So we have to really be specific with the way that we are engaging in this world and engaging with each other as well. As you start your healing process, you're going to want to put that on other people. But guess what? That's their journey to have. You can't walk for them. Just like you can take the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink. It's the same principle, even as it applies to our health. People have to meet themselves and say, you know what? I'm going to do this for my betterment, for my elevation. And that's just what it is. So, don't get offended, don't get mad. Certain people, you grow apart from as well. You may be on a different journey, and that's okay. Your principles might not align with their principles. That's okay. Because once again, they got to take their journey for themselves. Maybe you're somebody who they look to for advice, and that's a good thing as well. If you're somebody who they feel supported by and all of these things. But just be mindful of what you're truly supporting, because you might be supporting bad habits as opposed to somebody who's actually actively trying to heal. All right, y'all. Blessings and happy fasting. And I will be resetting today. Hope y'all are having a beautiful, beautiful day. And, let's keep juicing. Bless.